Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to another exciting, tantalizing, and downright risque episode of the We Don't Know Sports podcast. I'm sitting here with Mr. Brown. We just got done eating some, I don't know, I had like a Greek pita thing, and you had some, what kind of wings?
Agent Orange.
Agent Orange. That sounds
zesty,
dangerous.
But not too overpowering. Great flavor.
That's right.
Makes you sweat a little, but it's not enough to where you're going to regret it the next day.
Well, the main reason why we went to our beloved location here in West Virginia, referred to as many as Cold Spot or The Cold Spot, they had $5 growlers. And we decided to fill a couple growlers up and brought them back. And I think we have some kind of tangerine beer, and you got something.
Yeah, I got Fat Tire.
Oh, you can't go wrong with Fat Tire.
But you can get any beer of your choice that they have on draft for $5 on the happy hour. No matter what the type of draft you want.
That's I don't know if that's a good business practice or not.
We appreciate it.
But thank you for the kind generosity with your promotions. It meant a lot to us. But we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight. And, you know, it can be kind of a dead period as far as sports go. I know you and me are anxiously, desperately, and just so over waiting on baseball season to start.
Yeah, the meme I posted this week on the page, it explains exactly how I feel.
I mean, it's rough. This has been the worst year for me waiting on baseball to come back. I don't know why. I think it's because the offseason last year at least was kind of exciting.
I know why. You know why, too.
No, don't even bring that up.
No, I'm going to bring it up.
No, don't bring it up, damn it. No, we are not the Browns.
The Reds are going to be the Browns this year of Major League Baseball.
Only Matt Vasgersian said that. I've seen other prognostications who said we'd be lucky to win 80 games.
Well, I'm glad that you're going to get out of maybe the 60, late or high 60s, low 70s range. At least maybe get in the 80s. That'd be great.
It might be worth your while to go to the game.
That's only a 3-hour drive for us. And like I told you, it's good if Cincinnati is doing well because it gives us something to go do.
Well, there's not a ton.
Quick trip.
All right, I'm moving on because there's not a ton of baseball news to talk about.
You
know
how
now.
I get going.
We are watching the Arenado trade rumors circulate still, and some other things happening. But we'll kind of skip talking baseball most of the show today. We're going to talk a lot of football, obviously, because we got the NFL playoffs, the national championship in college football is coming up. We got some great stuff there. We asked a bucket list question to our fans out there about where is the one sporting venue you'd like to go. So can't wait to dive into that. We got a little bit of NBA, and then you can't forget about the XFL. It's out there in the news. So I don't know if anybody cares about that or not, but we'll at least mention it. But later in the show, we will have Jo Madden join us, and I hate to disappoint some people. It's not Jo Madden, the manager, but maybe just as cool and maybe more popular. I don't know. Jo Madden is a sports picker, handicapper extraordinaire based out on the West Coast, and she's built quite a little enterprise for herself out there on social media, and we can't wait to talk to her. But before we get into all that, let's start off and talk a little bit of NBA. So last week, we went a little bit into who we thought like the good teams were, how we think things are going to play out, more or less. And let's be honest, the regular season of the NBA isn't that exciting, but we do have some kind of interesting things that have transpired, here recently. And one is AD's hurt. Joel Embiid, did you see his injury?
I didn't see that. What happened with him?
You didn't see Embiid's fingers like dangling off his hand?
Oh, I think that's what they were talking about.
You didn't see it, though.
No, I saw a picture that it was crooked. I thought it was something old.
No, man, that just happened. That was gnarly, too. That was like Steve Berline back in the Broncos. I remember when he almost had his finger ripped off. That's what it looked like. But you have, two, big, low post guys that are kind of banged up right now. But I guess AD might not be long term. But
they don't seem serious.
We'll get the load management, I'm sure, over the next few games at least. But then I missed this one, and you were mentioning it just a second ago. Jimmy Butler had something happen. What was that?
Yeah, I mean, they were playing the Pacers, and I believe it was T.J. Warren.
I don't even know who that is.
He used to play for the Suns, came over, and now he's playing for the Pacers. They got into a little skirmish, I guess you call it. No punches were thrown. They're guarding each other, and basically they both got teed up. Warren got threw out of the game, and then Butler, after the game, was like, I told the coach, he's not even in my league. This boy ain't in my league. And then he circled the date on the calendar like, please put him on me on this day because bad things are going to happen.
All right, that sounds like old 80s trash talk basketball right there. And then wasn't he blowing kisses to him when he got ejected? I read that.
I didn't see that. But
I haven't seen that, but I read that he was like blowing him kisses as he went out.
I mean, that's where we're at with Jimmy Butler, though. I mean, I like the confidence. Don't get me wrong, but like the Jimmy Butler that got to this point to where he is today, back in Chicago, wouldn't have blatantly said, he's out of my league. That boy's out of my league. He's kind of a diva now.
Well, you know what? He's on Miami, and Miami's a serious playoff contender here.
I mean, they're overachieving, so I'll give him that.
I mean, they really are. Now I saw also in the Eastern Conference there, the Celtics. Did you see Kemba Walker got actually thrown out of a game? Like
first time ever.
How bad is that for you to have to double T, Kemba Walker, the most mild person in the world? Did you see the play?
I didn't see it.
It was basically like a bit of a moving screen where he kind of extended his arms. I'll be honest with you, it wasn't the worst case, non-call I've ever seen. But, man, they were quick to tee him up twice. I couldn't read his lips, but I doubt he was praying. I'm sure he said something very, very nasty to the official. But you know what? It's just ironic that he got tossed so quick. But, that's kind of all that's going on there.
And they lost that game.
Yeah, I mean, they did, and maybe you can blame it. It wasn't a spark, him getting thrown out. It didn't help. But speaking of trash talk and erroneous things happening, probably our favorite thing that we've come across is Kawhi telling who was he talking to? He was talking to his teammates, like, go ask why LeBron can't guard me.
I don't know if he was talking to the refs, the coaches, teammates, but he kept asking, why is LeBron ducking me? Why does he not want to guard me? And, I love that.
I mean, that's how you help build a rivalry, and for the guy that never says anything in front of a microphone, when we catch little snippets like this, it just makes it that much more sweet.
And he said all this, and I'm pretty sure it didn't follow with that eerie laugh.
He's not going to like that.
But he was serious. He was dead serious. But I like the chippiness right there because that is trying to build the Battle of L.A.
I mean, it might give us something to pay attention to whenever they play again because we know the regular season is not going to matter too much.
We need something to get us to March.
Yeah, at least. They're trying to get us to the All-Star game. Did you see where Dwight Howard's going to be in the dunk contest?
Is he?
You didn't see that?
No, the only thing I saw was Trae Young was lobbying for Vince Carter to come back.
That was my thing. I'm ready to start a movement to lobby for Vince Carter because I'm just curious to see what he's got in the tank. If you give him 3 chances to dunk the ball, I would much rather see that than Dwight Howard.
I mean, I'm sorry, but we saw we saw MJ in the last All-Star game with the Wizards. I think he missed the dunk in the game.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to see Vince Carter because it's going to ruin the Vinsanity that he did almost 20 years ago.
I don't think so. I think if look, we've seen the viral video in the past few months where Spud Webb was dunking at the age of 50, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if Spud Webb can do that at 50, Carter's still in the league and still a contributing player.
I mean, can we pull out like a 7-foot Asian man or see who he can dunk over?
I mean, he's done that before, but I'm not lobbying that we go that far.
Maybe we'll put it down to like Jeremy Lin.
Yeah, Jeremy Lin, he could probably tolerate jumping over.
I think he could jump over him.
He could jump over Jeremy Lin. It's a sad state of affairs, and that's all we got to talk about with the NBA. But you know what? It's early January, and it's pretty terrible right now. So hopefully things will get picked up as far as storylines go here in the coming weeks.
I do have one thing. I hate to add it in here at the end.
That's okay.
Western Conference, we didn't really touch on it last week other than the Lakers and the Clippers we thought would be there at the end, right? There's 2 teams in the Western Conference that's kind of surprising me. We got the OKC, their 7th seed.
Yeah,
I thought they'd fall off.
I thought they'd be like a 10 seed.
Nothing against Chris Paul. He just can't stay healthy. And they don't really have a lot of supporting cast. So they're the 7th seed, over 500. And then you got the Spurs in the 8th seed. They're below 500. But what has happened to the Portland Trailblazers?
I don't know. Is that the Carmelo effect?
It's the Carmelo curse.
It's the Carmelo curse.
Like I said, he's going to get his 25, but I'm going to lose by 10.
Like they are absolutely terrible.
There's too much talent on that team to not be in the playoffs.
Like how they're not even. Where are they? Are they like the Warriors are behind them? I think.
Yeah, they're 10th right now.
They're 10th,
but they're only a game out of the 8th spot.
Yeah, but we shouldn't even be having this conversation.
I mean, because the Warriors fell off and they basically gave a free spot to somebody this year.
Right, and we're thinking Portland's a top 4 seed.
Be a lock,
right? Like a first round home court team, right?
Right.
I mean, it's you got the LA teams in Houston, and you thought they would rise up. Maybe Denver.
You got Denver and Houston ain't going nowhere. That's why.
Right. So I mean, Portland's going to take a step up. Nope, they're not taking any of those win shares. In fact, they're giving away what they already had.
Do they get the 7 or 8 seed?
There's still a lot of basketball to be played.
They'd almost have to by default.
I mean, who's going to beat them out?
I mean,
Sacramento, Utah, Phoenix.
They're a game behind the Spurs right now. I feel like they've got to catch them.
Who's the 7th seed?
OKC.
I could see OKC falling out.
OKC has a 4.5 game lead over the 8th seed right now.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll just say it's heavy at the top. Well, this time of year, I feel like the biggest thing that we can typically talk about is always going to be football. But I want to start off first and just ask you, did you see where the XFL came out with the rule changes?
I mean, I saw the rule changes. I didn't see everything specific, but I think a lot of it dealt with what pace of play.
Right. So they're trying to speed the game up. Like, I guess they did these studies and they figured out like 2.5 hours is like the max where they're going to be. But the special teams aspect of it is like the biggest thing. So, for one example, the kickoff, they line up at their own 30, kick it off. You're only allowed to be 5 yards apart, so you can start blocking early. You're not really getting a head start. And if you take a touchback, you get the ball to 15. Touchback.
Instead of the 20?
Instead of the 20 or the 25.
Who cares?
Well, I mean, it's trying to get you to not take a knee and actually try to return it.
So it's encouraging you to return it and make things happen.
Right. And on a punt, if you punt the ball out of bounds, there's no coffin corner. If it goes out of bounds anywhere on a punt inside the 20, you get the ball to 35.
Wow. So you can't hide away from the good returners.
No.
I like that. I mean, it makes it exciting.
But to correspond with that on the punts also, the gunners, so to speak, the guys on the outside, they are not allowed to leave the line of scrimmage until the ball passes them.
So that what's supposed to make it like open up more to where they couldn't make returns because you're not downfield?
Yeah, I mean, you're not really going to have to call a fair catch because you're going to have time unless somebody just skies the punt.
I mean, it seems like in NFL right now, it seems like everyone's always right on top of the guy before he even catches it.
Always a fair catch.
So, I mean, this would, give the returner a huge advantage. I like it.
So, my thing is they have like extra officials in the XFL. Apparently, one guy is just to spot the ball. That's his only job, so they can kind of hurry. I wonder if that's the same guy that's just like going to stand there and you can't run. Okay, the ball's gone. You can go.
Where do you apply for that at?
The XFL.com/careers. I guess.
I like it.
All right, extra points. So there's no kicking after a touchdown. There's different things you can do. You can do a 1 point play from the 2 yard line. Wait a minute, let me make sure I get this right. They can attempt to play from the 2 yard line for 1 point, 5 yard line for 2 points, and 10 yard line for 3 points.
Oh, that's very interesting. I mean, so there's no extra points. Do they have field goals?
Yeah, they have field goals.
So you have kickers.
I'm assuming
field goals only.
I'm assuming there were 3 points. I did not check. Maybe it's like our stupid fantasy league where you get like more points for longer field goals.
I mean, I like the 3 options. I mean, that should eliminate ties, and I mean, makes people.
They have overtime, but it's only from the 5 yard line.
Just think if you always went for the 3 points, you could like just get 9 after 9 after 9.
I just hope it's around long enough to where there's like these sabermetrics that develop. You have these numbers where you're like, you know what, we're more likely to be better off if we always just go for 3.
Right.
Kind of like how the NBA has done that, where they shoot threes more now than ever because they figure out like on the long term, even if they only shoot 30%, it's still better than shooting 40% at 2.
I don't know why they go for the 1 though.
I mean, who's going for the 1?
Yeah.
I guess if you
have a beast running back,
well, and maybe you only need 1 point. Maybe that's where you're at.
There you go.
But like, what if you were a stronger passing team but you feel like you could run it in from like just a couple yards out, and then we should have went for 2, damn it. I think the other rule changes or rule differentiations, nothing crazy. Only 1 foot in bounds, which I kind of like that. I think it keeps the guesswork out of who's in and who's out. Hands or elbows or knees involved.
Yeah, I like it too. Keep it simple.
No coaching challenges.
None at all.
Everything's booth reviewed. So you can't really do anything to slow down the game.
I mean, let's be real. The NFL, I mean, the coach have reviews, but they never award the coaches anyway. So let's eliminate that anyway.
I don't know. Why do we give the coaches the opportunity anyway? I mean, everything's on TV. You can do it in a split second. Us watching at home usually can make a decision whether or not a call was good or bad anyway.
I mean, after watching the Raiders all year, you'd see Gruden with that red flag, and he'd have that scowl, and he'd throw it on the field knowing he's damn well going to lose it anyway.
Especially that pass interference stuff.
Oh, yeah. He kept challenging those referees' calls, and he'd never win.
He's the one why the percentage was so low, right? All right, the last two little bit of rules, you have 2 forward passes are allowed as long as the first one's behind the line of scrimmage. I don't think that's a huge deal, but it might create more trick plays because you could throw a screen pass and you're not really worried about was it technically backward.
I'm not sure I like that one.
I don't think it'll really impact it that much.
Well, I mean, I just don't like it because at that point it's not really like you're changing football.
You're talking about the ball trajectory literally being a yard or two, one way or the other. I mean, right now, when you're watching a game on TV, you know if it's a trick play because you can tell that ball was thrown backwards. Here you may not be able to tell as much. If the quarterback's in a shotgun and can throw a screen, the wide receiver doesn't have to drop back 5 yards. He can catch it, then immediately fire it downfield.
Even if he's past the line of scrimmage.
No. He can't. You can't do it past the line of scrimmage.
Oh, that's what I was.
No, that's what I'm saying. Both passes have to take place behind the line of scrimmage.
All right. Well, I'm fine with that then.
Right. You can't.
I was thinking running back was running. He get like 20 yards, and there had to be a receiver downfield to stop and chuck it.
It's like the Boise State, hook and ladder, where instead of tossing it, he just turns around and fires it 30 yards downfield after a 15-yard catch.
I mean, it's starting to sound like some NFL blitz stuff at that point.
That's it, man. I was never really big into NFL blitz. That wasn't my cup of tea. Last but not least, inconsequential linemen are allowed 3 yards past the line of scrimmage on a pass play, which I feel like that happens anyway in football, just never gets called.
Yeah, I'm indifferent on that one.
All right, so they're in spring training, whatever you want to call it, I guess. Their training camp starts now. Season begins the week after the Super Bowl. Are you going to watch?
I'm going to watch it. I mean, so it gives football fans something to watch basically during baseball season, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
When there's no NFL.
Well, and I'm looking forward to. I'm excited for baseball. We've already covered that, but I'm definitely at least looking forward to having something to fill some February and March time frames.
So over under, just the last 5 years.
Under.
I
hate to say that.
That's rough. What was it last time? Just one?
1 year. I give it 2 years.
The better than the last one they just tried.
It'll be better than the AAF.
Right.
Because they're solvent. They have money.
All right.
It's already funded for a year.
But less than 5.
I think so. I hope I'm not right.
All right.
But I don't know. It is what it is. Switching gears real quick. Just want to talk about it briefly. Do you have a rooting interest in the college football national championship game? We have Clemson and LSU, and I saw this morning that the betting public is overwhelmingly voting for
LSU. What's the spread?
LSU is a 5.5 point favorite.
Oh, then I'd absolutely take LSU.
Right?
I think they're going to win by at least 10. I'd say definitely 7.
Clemson fans are pissed. They feel like they're getting like the ultimate disrespect. They haven't lost a game in 2 years.
And Lawrence has never lost a game, ever.
Yeah, ever. Maybe in like Pee Wee football.
I think LSU will win. I just feel like it's their year. It's in New Orleans. Nolans.
It is. It's in Nolans.
So, but who knows if Clemson may come out in Ohio Stadium,
It could happen.
I hope it's close.
I don't think it will be.
It'd be nice if it is.
Like, I really think LSU's going – it'll probably be like the LSU-Alabama game if it's close. I bet LSU gets up on them, and then Clemson claws back and makes it a little interesting, and that's about as far as we get.
How many touchdowns will Burrow have in the first half? 8?
No. But I will say he'll have 3.
3 in the first half. So he could go for 5 or 6 in the game.
We should see what the futures bet on that is. What's the over-under on Burrow's touchdowns in the first half?
Yeah, we need to look that up.
If it's a 4, I'm taking that.
So, I agree. Do you think he's cemented himself as the number 1 pick to the Bengals regardless of his performance in this game? Or do you think they could go with that linebacker from Ohio State?
So I think Burrows might look like the best quarterback available, but most people will tell you that if Trevor Lawrence is available, he is the number 1 quarterback taken. I can't really argue that one way or the other. I think you're splitting hairs. I think they're both going to be phenomenal talents. I don't know how well they'll be in the NFL, though. You never know with these college quarterbacks. Some can come out and they look like world beaters, and sometimes you're better off drafting somebody from a college you've never heard of. So the thing for me, though, to say he's going to be the number 1 pick, I don't know if I can say that because I'm not certain Cincinnati actually takes a quarterback. I know people think I'm crazy when I say that, but that team's got so many issues. It's hard not to take a Chase Young or somebody like that.
the consensus is Chase Young's the number one overall player.
Yes.
And that's not close.
Right. He is a freak.
So, I mean, he's definitely a game changer.
He's not a quarterback.
Right.
And you know how we love quarterbacks.
Right.
So I don't know. I've not, other than Carson Palmer, my entire life of being a Bengals fan, we have never drafted a quality quarterback.
So if Lawrence comes out, you're saying the top two talented quarterbacks are in the championship game, and they would go 1 and 2 in terms of quarterbacks.
Correct. I think that's you can write that down.
That's pretty cool, though. I mean, coming from two huge schools like that,
it is. Well, quarterbacks are what make the world go around, right?
Yeah, I mean, but like you said, it's always a unknown school that has a good talent, like NFL talent,
right?
Quarterback, and then you got these two guys from the two most dominant programs of the year. And they're 1 and 2. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, and I like the Burrow story where he's had to transfer to even get to this spot, which is kind of interesting. But for whatever reason, maybe it's just Ed Orgeron. I'm rooting for LSU like crazy.
I agree. He's my favorite coach of the whole country.
Go Tigers! So we're getting ready to play a segment where we have Jo Madden, a sports prognosticator extraordinaire. She's going to be joining us from Canada, even though I erroneously get that wrong. Forgive me, Joe. Anyway, she's got some interesting takes, and we're really going to dive into the whole NFL playoff picture with her. But there's some things that we disagree with a little bit. So, without giving too much away, right now, when we're looking at the divisional round matchups, we have Seattle and Green Bay. Who do you like?
I like the Packers and a sloppy one.
They said they're trying to hire people to come up here and help remove snow.
It's that bad right now?
It's that bad. They're like in a polar vortex.
Wow.
Well, I absolutely also am taking Green Bay to run away with this one. Seattle, what are they down to their 19th string running back?
Yeah, I mean, beast mode, I love him to death, but, he's been sat out for damn near 2 years.
That's all right. He'll still get a touchdown.
He will.
It'll be an ugly game.
If they can line up and not get a delayed game.
Like, the only thing that'll make it appealing is if the snow is that bad, then I'll probably watch the game.
Yeah, it'll make it fun, really.
All right, so moving to the other side, you got Minnesota, who pulled off the big upset of your Saints that you had as your pick, right?
Oh, thanks for that. Thanks for reminding me.
Just had to bring it up. They're going to take on the Niners, and Niners coming off a week. Maybe they're getting a little healthy. What are your thoughts on that game, real quick?
They could be either healthy or they could be a little stale from having a week off. Whereas the Vikings were battle tested going into beating New Orleans, beating the Saints, and moving on. So they could either come out and punch them in the mouth, or the Niners would roll like they should. I mean, I could see it go either way. But I'm going Niners if I had to bet.
I think Shanahan's too good of a coach to let him be too rusty. So I'm liking what's happening there. I think they'll be just fine. All right, moving over to the AFC. And just to be clear, I'm taking the Niners. Moving over to the AFC, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, at home. Not looking as potent or dangerous as last year this time. But they're not playing New England. They're playing the up-and-down Houston Texans. So are you a believer in the Texans? Can they string together 2 games that are actually of quality?
No. I got the Chiefs winning this one, and I don't even think it'll be a question.
Chiefs all day.
Yeah.
It's that. Yeah.
I don't have much to say about it.
No. I mean, I expect, the Texans to show up and look pretty mediocre at best.
2 weeks in a row is asking too much.
It's too much. Clearly, it's too much.
Yeah.
All right, moving over to the very last game, the Baltimore Ravens hosting the rushing champ and the Tennessee Titans.
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it'll be, a battle of defenses. Tennessee can run the ball, and given the fact they have Tannehill, who can make some throws, it might keep him honest. I'm hoping Tennessee keeps it close, but, you got to go with the Ravens.
I think just with the style of game, it's not going to be high scoring because they'll both run the clock like crazy.
I think the Ravens will win by less than a touchdown.
But they'll win, and I don't think it'll be that close. It'll be like you feel the air come out of the Titans. The Ravens just aren't letting go of that grip. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining us now way out from, I believe, the West Coast. I don't know. It's a different time zone, I'm pretty sure. But we went and found Miss Jo Madden, who is a sports prognosticator, sports bookie. I don't know what you want to call her, but she is a lady of many hats, and she's all over social media. You see her on Instagram, on Facebook, and she's got a story to tell, and we want to hear about it. And honestly, I find what she does absolutely interesting. So, Jo, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Thanks for having me on today. I'm so excited, you guys.
We're glad to have you. And am I right? Are you out in California?
No, I'm all the way up in Canada.
Oh, no.
You got that way wrong.
Hey, I was way off.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm in Alberta, Canada. It's pretty cold up here. I wish I was in California right now.
I wish Canadian Biggie was here. That would explain the accent. We have a friend of ours who's from North Dakota who does a show with us from time to time, and we always joke with him and call him Canadian, and he gets really offended by that.
Why? It's a good thing to be Canadian.
I mean, Canadians are very nice people, and we love Canada, and we have some Canadian fans out there.
Yeah,
so,
we do.
We're happy to have a fellow Canuck Canadian on the show.
Well, thank you. It's a privilege, you guys.
So what's the temperature there right now?
We're going into deep freeze, actually. We're supposed to be minus 30 Celsius on Monday, so it's pretty cold right now. I think it's about minus 15.
See, they're throwing us off of that Celsius thing, so that might as well be like negative 100 for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what that means.
I can't convert it in my head quick enough, you know?
I think when it gets to around 0, it gets pretty even. So.
Well, to put it in perspective, I'm sitting here in my man cave. We got the garage door open, and I'm wearing shorts. So there you go.
He is wearing shorts.
Well, you couldn't do that in Canada.
Well, it's about 45 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's all right.
Okay. It's a lot warmer than us.
Yeah.
That's all right. We enjoy it while we can. We're supposed to get snow next week, but it's supposed to be like 72 degrees on this Saturday.
Saturday.
Right? Yeah. So, yeah, we're kind of all topsy-turvy right now.
Wow, lucky for you guys.
Well, but you're inside, so life's probably good. I'm sure you got the heat on.
I've got the heat on. The fireplace is going. It's nice and cozy in here, you guys.
Well, tell everybody a little bit about Jo Madden and who exactly you are and what exactly it is that you do.
Okay, so I love sports. Like, I absolutely love football. It is the main sport I follow. College football, NFL, I absolutely love it, and basketball as well. So I've always watched sports. Growing up, I played them, and I really started getting involved, I guess, about 2004 in following an NFL team. I didn't have a team before this, and I used to watch a lot of basketball. So I watched Antonio Gates play at Kent State. And you guys know how incredible Antonio Gates was when he came to the NFL.
Oh, he's the man.
Totally. So, but I didn't realize that he had transferred out of basketball. So I was watching this game, and Phillip Rivers threw a ball to Antonio Gates. He caught it in one hand, like absolutely perfectly, pulled it down and started running. And I was like, holy, that's my Antonio Gates. Everyone had no clue what I was talking about. But it was fantastic. So I became a Chargers fan, and I love my Chargers. Do or die, Bolts fan, all the way, you guys.
See, that would admonish some wrongdoing on my part by thinking you were from California. I just kept seeing all the Chargers stuff.
That's probably why. And yeah, I love my Chargers. I wear their stuff any chance I can get. So.
I mean, I'm from West Virginia, and I'm wearing Raiders gear, so anything can happen, right?
I don't know what's with you Raider fans, but again, at least you're not KC, so that is a good thing.
See, there's common ground right there. We're bridging gaps and forming alliances right now.
I mean, you got to rely on us to fill up your stadium, you know?
Oh, damn, you went there, hey?
That was a deep burn.
Yeah, oh, that's a burn, yeah.
All right,
that hurts a little, I'm not going to lie, you guys.
I was going to say that I was going to ask why you became a Chargers fan, but you covered it. But, like, I have a great mutual respect for Antonio Gates as well. I think he's, in my opinion, like a top 3 tight end of all time. People tend to, forget about him, but he's been consistent and he's been doing it forever, and one of the most physically gifted tight ends I've ever seen.
Oh, he is. He's absolutely incredible. The talent within that guy is insane. I was really hoping he'd be back this season, but it didn't happen. I remember the last catch he caught, actually, against the Patriots in the playoffs last year that we totally got burned on. He caught a pass right along the lines, and the refs, or the announcers, went, well, that's a great way for Antonio Gates to go out. And I went, what? I didn't hear any talk of him going out, but that's what the announcers called because obviously they saw it coming.
Well,
I didn't see it coming till they said that, and then it was like total tears. Everyone thought I was crying because the Chargers were losing, and no one understood why. So,
well, they had a rough year this year, so we'll try to remember the positive vibes of last year where they were in the playoffs.
yeah.
Now, Biggie, who we mentioned earlier, who's from South Canada, he's a big time Patriots fan. But I think the three of us are you an anti-Patriots person? Are you as they would call a hater?
I am very much so, yes. And
See, I knew this is why we brought her on the show. I knew she was a good person.
Oh yeah, I have an issue with the Patriots, especially Tom Brady. There's talks of him going to the Chargers, and I don't know
that's
what
right.
to do. Yeah, and the Raiders. There's talks of that too.
There's no way we would take him.
Miami.
Not after the Tuck rule. We would kick him out of the stadium.
Oh man, I think it'd be tough. It'd be really tough. I don't know what I'd do at all, you guys. It's not a good thing. I don't like Brady. I can officially say I'm a Brady hater. So
we will not hold that against you. In fact, that probably gives you a couple points.
Oh, nice. I like that.
I actually hate the Patriots fans worse than I actually hate the Patriots.
Absolutely.
Because they're so absurd. And you can't even talk to them. They get all pissy and like, oh, what about our 6 rings? What have you done the last so-and-so? Just like, they're so arrogant. I can't wait till it falls on their face, which is starting right now. And they're going to be like the 90s Cowboys fans who still hang on to those rings they won back in the 90s. And that
is so true.
It's
so
right
true.
Right now. It's starting right now. So we're going to embrace it and we're going to enjoy it. And we're going to watch them all go back into that bush and disappear. The fake fans that's there right now.
Well, you guys can thank me for their loss last week because Brady screws me no matter what I do. So I start to realize if I bet for him or if I bet against him, he did the opposite, right?
Okay.
He just wanted to screw me over. So last week, I was pretty sure they weren't going to win. So what did I do? I bet him to win. And what did he do? He lost just to screw me over. I swear to God.
Well, we appreciate the karma. I mean, I think at the end of the day, you'd say it's still worth it, right?
Oh, 100% worth it. I would have thrown all the money to watch him lose. So
now I promise we didn't bring her on the show just so we could bury the Patriots. I mean, I know we enjoy doing that. We post one thing bad about the Patriots and there's 40,000 people that want to comment on it. And then they all go to our page and give us bad reviews because they hate us. So that's our experience with Patriot fans, but we'll move on from that. And let's get a little bit more into kind of what it is that you do, because I see it all the time on social media, whether it's Instagram or on Facebook. You're always giving us like these inside like hot takes on who you're going to pick and different things like that. And then, I guess you work for a sports book too. So like, let's talk a little bit about kind of how you came into this world of where you're at doing the picks and whatnot.
Okay. So I'd always bet sports with my guy friends. So I wrote a huge rant on Facebook one day. Some stupid bets guys wanted to bet with me. And I'm sure you guys obviously could tell what kind of bets guys want to make with a girl who thinks she knows football, right? So I was doing this show talking about different sporting bets for the football. And I absolutely loved it, but it just wasn't the right fit for me. So I decided to go out on my own because I will never be told which way to bet. Like, if the three of us were talking about a game, both of you were convinced that the Raiders were going to win it, and I thought for some reason the Chargers were going to win it, there's no way I'm agreeing with anyone. I'm going to tell everyone my opinion, even if it's completely, like, out to lunch.
That's all right. Stick to your guns. I got it.
Exactly. Because you know what? When I don't stick to my guns, I get screwed over. And then I sit there and go, well, I should have thought what I thought and not what everyone else thought. So I decided, you know what? I'm actually good at this. I beat a lot of my guy friends, and my background is accounting. So for me, reading the stats, reading the numbers, it makes so much sense to me.
Moneyball.
Exactly, right? And I love money, and I love being able to look at these games, analyze the different players, and look at the lines and watch the movement. And within those movements, there's so much information. And I love it. I absolutely love it. So I started posting my bets for people, giving them away for free, and just giving people a lot of information on what's happening in different games. So it's so much fun. I love it.
Well, I appreciate the fact that you do it for free because there's all these like freaking guys out there who think they know better and they try to get you like, if you call in the next 15 minutes, we'll give you the lock of the week or whatever. And it's such garbage and BS. But, I like how you kind of give your little, take on what you think's going on. And, I guess the question is, how successful are you overall? And I'm going to tie that in because – we did something this year that we've never done before, and we picked every single NFL game this year against the spread. And I'll tell you how we did here in a second, but I'm just curious on how well do you feel like you do, and have you ever done such nonsense like that before?
You know what? I started off doing that, and I was doing okay, but I don't like to lose at all. So if I lose one game or I lose 3 games, it hurts. It hurts my pride because I seriously believe these games when I'm calling them, that's what's going to happen. So I start to narrow down my games and really pick the top ones that I believed in. Honestly, you guys, I don't have the time between picking the games, reading the stats to add up my numbers. I need to add up my numbers because I know I've done really good. Over Thanksgiving weekend, I hit over 85% of all my games. My bowl season's gone absolutely fantastic. I did way better than I ever expected in bowl. The Ohio State Clemson game killed me. I'm with you. Oh my God, the only game of the day I didn't get, and I had 2 bets on that game, and I lost both of them, and I was so mad. The refs kicking out the one player, you guys.
It was a travesty. I'll call it what it is. It was terrible. Now, I'm not going to talk much about, like, Mr. Brown here is not big into college football as much, but I absolutely got slaughtered in confidence picks this year in bowl games. It was like the worst year I've ever had, so I'm not going to bring that up because it's not flattering for me, so I'm not going to talk about it.
Damn, you should have followed my bowl picks this year.
I should have, but I had already had them locked in. I had to do it before it started. It was chaos. But,
oh, man.
So we did the exact opposite. Instead of just going with like 3 confident games, which is what most normal people do. You watch most people on TV, they'll pick like a few games, they'll handicap or whatever and say, this is what we're going with. We did every game. And I got to tell you, it made me learn a lot about Vegas and a lot about how they always seem to have the money lines right. But I will say, as a group, the 3 of us that do this show, I will pat us on the back and say that we beat the experts at Bleacher Report this year, so those guys suck.
Oh, my God, fantastic, you guys.
We're better than them. But only one of us finished above 500, and that's Biggie, who's not with us tonight.
I was 500.
You were at 500, and I finished 1 game under 500, and I was chasing Mr. Brown for like the last 6 weeks, and I couldn't catch him. I was always like right behind him. But it was funny that you bring up Thanksgiving because I feel like that was like the turning point for us for actually doing well. Like, we would always do the Thursday night games, and like we're talking now, it's Thursday night. So we'd always be watching the Thursday night game doing picks. We were terrible at Thursday night games, and then it got to Thanksgiving, and we all got them all right, and we were like, yeah, we're doing pretty good now. And then I still couldn't climb out of last place, though. But I'm glad somebody else did good on Thanksgiving, too. That makes
it
was
a good weekend, that's for sure. And fun. Like, how much fun was that watching all those games? I don't know. I watch all the games. Like, seriously, in my house, the TV's always on with football. So I'm recording games when I'm not watching them and watching them after. So
what changed it for me this year is picking every game was I was watching all these games and cheering for different reasons. So you have my personal interest, who I just like to watch, like the Raiders. And then I have my fantasy teams who I'm rooting for certain players to do well. And then I'm picking against the spread and hoping to cover the spread. So and sometimes you're cheering against yourself.
It's an emotional roller coaster.
It is.
It's terrible.
Oh, it totally is. But you know what? Even when the Chargers were playing, I could not bet against them, even when I knew they were going to lose. Like in that last game against the Raiders, how were you guys, the underdogs in that game coming in? It was unbelievable. I knew right away you guys were going to win it. Could I bet it? Could I bet for you guys to win? No.
So you just avoid that game completely, right?
I avoided it totally.
I mean, there's certain games that just leaves you scratching your head, but then there's other ones you scratch your head for a different reason because they were right on point, and you're just like, my God, how are they that good every single week?
I know, it's unbelievable.
So how do they always know?
Yeah.
There's something, it's the mafia. That's all it is. I'm all right.
I think the mafia's paying them off. I don't know.
I'm going to go with it.
Canadian mafia.
It makes me feel better if the Canadian mafia is involved,
I don't think we have mafia up here, do we?
See, that's what they want you to think.
They're too nice to say sorry all the time.
Yeah, that's what you think that. I'm telling you. They're hiding in that snowdrift. Watch out.
Yeah, probably.
All right, so with the playoffs in full force here, you got any bold predictions you want to share with our listeners for the remaining part of the playoffs? Any big picks that you've kind of already settled on, or are you still waiting on the lines to move?
No, I'm loving the Vikings, you guys. Over the 49ers. The 49ers, I can't not love them with the points going into this game. I love the 49ers. Jimmy G is fantastic. Their defense with Nick Bosa, oh my God, absolutely incredible. But you know what? Kirk Cousins, he has shown and he has proven beating Drew Brees that he can win this game. And you know what? Right now, if you like the Vikings, pick them to win or to be in the Super Bowl. I think they could win it.
All right, so I wish I would have taken your advice last week because I saw your video. You was howling the Vikings against the Saints. The Vikings cost me $250 because I got every other game right, and I lost because of the Vikings.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
We even did a poll on our page. It was just a random poll. It was 80% Saints were going to win, 20% Vikings.
Everyone thought the Saints would win, and that's why I had to go on the Vikings. I hate when everyone's on one side. I do. I hate it. And everyone coming into this game thinks the 49ers are going to walk all over the Vikings because we've seen the 49ers do fantastic. What are they, 13-3 this year? They've done phenomenal. But they're coming into this game, and the Vikings are on a roll. I think the bye week actually hurts the 49ers. They get rusty. And they're coming out.
I don't think they're battle tested either because this is a new thing for a lot of these players on this team. So they may come out and get punched in the mouth.
They haven't been here before.
Right.
No. And you know what? If the Vikings can come out strong and upset them right away, I think they run away with it. I really do. And I think it's going to be a super high scoring game. I'm on the over. The over-under is only 45.5. And we know both these teams can put up points.
All right. Well, what about the other NFC game? You got Seattle and Green Bay. So
that's going to be a gross game.
Yeah,
gross game, you guys.
Seattle uglies it up, don't they?
Yeah, Okay, so we've got two teams that you look at all their stats, all their records. These two teams should not be in the playoffs. I'm sorry, they shouldn't be. On paper, they're terrible. They pulled off.
You hear that, Jackie?
Guys. They pulled off these wins, which I don't even know how. It's awful. Russell Wilson is fantastic. I love him. But he's carrying his whole team. Right. I'm sorry. Seahawks fans hate to hear me say this. So they're an underdog by 4 points. We've got Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers. I do love Aaron Rodgers. He's coming to the end. He's not playing like he used to. He really isn't. But he's at Lambeau, so only giving him 4 points, I don't want to take that either, you guys. So you
just think it's going to be an ugly, low-scoring game, but Green Bay might squeak by a point or two. Yeah,
that's what I'm going to take. I'm going to take Green Bay money line. I think they will just win it. I think just him being at home. And I don't think Seattle will play good at Lambeau. They're going to be cold. They're not used to that weather there.
And they have no running game. They're on a fourth-string running back.
I know. It's absolutely terrible. So, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't even know if I really want to watch this game, to be honest with you.
It's going to be bad. Let's be honest.
It will. And then my best friend is a Seattle Seahawks fan. And she's like so all over that her team is just absolutely the best. And I've bet against them every single time this year. So I just can't, looking at the numbers, I cannot back this team at all.
All right. So, but it will be respect that. I can respect that 100%. So let's ask about the AFC. So, we're all excited that the Patriots are out. We've covered that ad nauseum now. So let's move on. We got, I think, so it's funny because I think this could be kind of an ugly game too, but I am going to enjoy watching the Titans and the Ravens. So tell me what your thoughts are there.
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Both have incredible defenses, and it's hard because you've got Lamar Jackson, absolutely fantastic quarterback. But with all these rules on how they can actually hit the quarterback, a running quarterback like this, it makes it such a hard game for the defenses not to get a 15-yard penalty. So I don't know. I think both teams are going to run the clock. I'm on the Titans only because the spread is so big. I don't think in a playoff game, giving the Baltimore Ravens 9.5 or 10 points is a good bet to take. Not one bit.
We're 100% nodding our heads here, agreeing with you.
Oh, good. I'm glad because it's too much. And you know what? Tannehill is a good quarterback. So if you look at a good quarterback, a low-scoring game because they're going to run the clock, you're giving me 9.5, 10 points for that team to lose by? Well, I'm going to take them against this, with the points against the spread all the way.
I'd say about 6.
Yeah, it's too many points, and points are going to be at a premium. It's not happening.
Yeah, and it's just because Joe Public is right behind Baltimore. And don't get me wrong, I love Baltimore. I absolutely do. But I think it's just too many points.
Baltimore's going to win, but they're not covering.
Yeah, exactly. So I can see them winning by 7, 6, right? Not by 9.5, 10.
All right, 100% agree. All right, last game, and I'm really interested to kind of get your take on one of these teams too. So we have the Houston Texans, who have been a chameleon for me all year. One week they look like world beaters. The next week, they're just looking like they don't even belong in the playoff conversation. So I don't even know what to think of them. So they're going on the road. What's their chances? What's the spread in that game? Do you know?
I think it's another 9.5.
Gee, that's insane.
Yeah, that's what I have here in my notes. I'd have to check if that's moved at all, but I think it's another high one. I love the Texans. I know they are off such an ugly win last week. I don't know how they won that game at the end. Thankfully, they did. I don't like the Chiefs, you guys. I really don't. People are going to back the Chiefs 100% because they're 9-1 against the spread.
It's because she's a Chargers fan.
That's true.
Chargers fan coming out here.
Right. Okay, but you guys, last year, I liked Mahomes. I liked his style. I liked his gameplay. This year,
they're not the same.
No, and Mahomes is cocky. They're not having the same turnout they did in their players, and he's just cockier than ever. So I can't back them.
It's because he's upgraded to that premium ketchup on his steaks now.
It's Kermit the Frog you're talking about. Be careful.
No, man. Yeah, and I can see why people are going to take KC. Andy Reid off a bye does absolutely fantastic. But I think you look at the Houston Texans, I think they're going to come in and they're going to play a smarter game than last week. And I think they're going to give KC a real challenge.
So do the Chiefs win or just, the Texans going to cover or what?
I'm taking the Texans just to win it.
Oh, they're going to win.
All
right.
Sprinkle on the money line for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
So they're going to go into Arrowhead and steal that W.
Yeah, I think they will.
You know what? And I can absolutely see that happening, but I have no way in the world I'm putting that out there because they have let me down so many times this year where you just thought they were going to be putting it all together. Like the fact they didn't win 13 games is miraculous to me because they have the talent, but they just, I don't know, maybe playoffs will be different, but I'm so used to watching them follow up a great game by just absolutely laying an egg.
Yeah, and I agree. And I just think with the glimpses, it was an ugly game last week. With the glimpses of greatness that they showed, Deshaun Watson played absolutely incredible in certain plays. I think they can do it. I really do. I think as long as they are completely focused and they don't turn over that ball, they'll beat KC.
With that out of the way, I'm not even going to ask you about conference championships or anything, but who are your 2 Super Bowl teams right now?
I think it has to be Baltimore and Minnesota.
Okay, that would actually be a fun matchup. That would be different.
A fantastic game.
I mean, if you like purple, you'd be all in on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Not a purple fan.
Well, Joe, tell everybody where they can find you, where you're at on social media and anything you want to share with our audience.
Okay, guys. So if you want to follow me, check me out on Instagram and Facebook at the Jo Madden. You can reach out to me there. Also, I'm an agent for a sports book. So if you're up in Canada, and we will be coming to the States shortly, check out VIPbets.com and use promo code BetWithJoe. We've got some great offers out there right now. So it's awesome.
Awesome. That sounds fantastic. And you know what? For living in West Virginia, we just got an online sports book this year. It is fantastic. So I look forward to you guys continuing to grow, and hopefully we see you guys stateside soon. But you know what, Joe? We appreciate having you on the show. Love talking football. Hopefully we'll get you back sometime soon.
Sounds great, you guys. Enjoy this weekend's games.
All right, you too. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care.
Well, it's been a little bit of time since we've actually done this, and now that we're past the holidays and everything, we put a question of the week out there to all the fans, and it was simply your bucket list event venue that you want to go to. Not event, venue, just your bucket list venue you want to attend. So some people can follow directions. Some people actually gave us one answer. For all of you jackasses out there who gave us like 5 to 10, sorry, we're going to ignore your post and keep moving by. But we wanted to share some of these, and starting off, we got a Chad Nicholson said a Badger game in Wrigley this fall, which I'm not sure if that was this past fall or coming up. But either way, that sounds kind of cool. But I'm not sure why Wisconsin is going to Illinois for a game.
I mean, it'd be anything at Wrigley makes it better, right?
I guess. I wonder, is it going to be one of those setups where the sideline can only be on like one side of the field?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's how Yankee Stadium is when they do it there. Jeffrey Pree, we're skipping you because you can't follow directions. Deveron Herrick, the Horseshoe, Columbus, Ohio. You know, I think OSU would be a fun event to go to, but I don't know if that's at the top of my list for college football. Jason Shepard, Old Trafford. Do you know what that is?
I've never heard of that.
I believe it's where Manchester United plays.
All right. Well,
I mean, I know we get lost in the shuffle with all our soccer posts.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, you probably just missed it.
The more you know.
Scott Madison, one of my favorite answers, the 17th green at TPC Sawgrass.
I mean, he's very specific.
I feel like that's a postcard somewhere.
Yeah, I like that one.
Like he might have a picture of that hanging in his office. Like, I respect that. Nice call out there, Scott Madison. Deanna Viles says just the Superdome, which, maybe she can go there Monday and watch Joe Burrows, beat Clemson. Josh Wright, Amen Corner. What is he talking about?
Amen Corner.
Amen Corner.
Hell if I know.
I know we don't know sports, but I feel like I know some things.
I feel like that's made up.
It's probably made up.
Probably a bourbon-laced answer.
Mike Anderson can't answer correctly, but I'll mention him anyway because he said Dodger Stadium and Levi Stadium, so I guess he's a California guy. Robert Stefanese, we see this one a few times, Lambeau Field.
I mean, of the NFL ones, I feel like that's the one, and then there's everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, it's standalone by itself. Anthony Martin, Rose Bowl and the Rose Bowl Parade. I like that. I like that a lot, even though the Rose Bowl is not quite what it used to be. Paul Clemens, sorry, you mentioned way too many. Allison Correo says, I've already been to the Staples Center many times, so let's make it Coach K Court.
I mean, I'd like to go to a game there and watch that.
It's an intimate atmosphere.
Right.
I don't think it's more than like 6,000 people that get in there.
I mean, I don't think Coach K goes and tells his team they're the most limited team he's ever coached or whatever, least skilled, right?
Maybe he does. I don't know.
You not hear about that?
No.
Roy Williams, what he just did to his team, they're 8-7.
Is that what he told him?
He told his players, you're the least skilled team I've ever coached.
So we have a guy that's coming on the show in a couple weeks that wrote a book about the 1972 Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
And there's a whole chapter about their coach. I think it's Dan Devine was his name.
I remember him.
And basically that's how he was.
He was in Rudy.
Yeah. It's that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is before he went to Notre Dame as coach, and he floundered at Green Bay. But basically, he told the players the same thing. Like, if you were as good as my Missouri players and I was coaching in college, like, that's how he was. I was like, man, this guy's an asshat. This is great. So shout out to Joseph Zargoski. I think I got his name right. He wrote the book, doing a good job. We got Fenway on here a lot from Cam McIntosh. Katie Lee, surprised, like you said once, not a top fan yet, but she's on here a lot. Wrigley and Fenway at the top of the list. I'll count that one as a multi-answer because I think Fenway and Wrigley are kind of in a class of their own, right? Like,
I think they are. But you said she talked about Tiger Stadium, right?
Oh, she's sad about missing the opportunity to see old Tiger Stadium.
There you go. I like that one.
You might have a chance to do something about that here in a minute. We'll talk about that at the end of this. Joe Brudeau, a huge NASCAR fan dream, so he said the Daytona 500. I'd
probably go to it once in my life if I had the opportunity. I'm not a NASCAR guy.
I don't know if I'd pay for it, but if I had free tickets.
I'd like to go to the event.
Eric Trexler, Augusta for the Masters, and it's not even close. We got Rick Holes. I don't know why I'm laughing at his name. I'm sorry, Rick. I'm a Penn Stater, so a whiteout game at Beaver Stadium would be my favorite. He's probably been to one too, maybe. I don't know. Either way, he's still repping it. There's another Fenway and Wrigley. We got Kevin Lovelace. I've been to Pittsburgh twice for Steelers games, but he'd love to go to Dodger Stadium.
Top fan Kevin Lovelace.
So Chavez Ravine, man, do you think that's an interesting setting, or what do you think?
I'd go, but I like it. I just think it's behind Wrigley and Fenway. It's an older stadium,
but behind, right?
I don't feel like it has
the charm.
And I don't know. Yeah, don't have it for me.
No, and you might get stabbed.
Yeah. So I'd go, but I don't think I'd pay for it.
All right, we'll keep moving along here. Ryan Arbuckle, top fan. Camden Yards is on his list. It's a newer ballpark, but man, Camden Yards is nice.
I always think of Cal roaming around after he broke the Iron Horse's streak there.
The big signs on the warehouse across the street. Yeah, that was cool stuff. Oh, let's see. We got Kim Murphy on here, top fan, talking about Cameron Indoor again. Another Coach K Court shout out.
You're gonna skip over at Trat.
I did skip over at Trat. At Trat's got a good one. Churchill Downs for the Kentucky Derby. Would you go to the Kentucky Derby?
I would.
Would you wear a big hat?
I don't know about all that.
And do you like mint juleps?
I've never had one.
You've never had a mint julep?
No.
We need to sophisticate you.
So maybe I can go and be his +1.
You might be able to. nothing like good old fashioned gambling on horses. Oh, well, I don't even know where I'm at. Oh, Amanda Weichel, just a great answer. All of the MLB fields. I really like that one a lot, actually.
It's all of them. I got it. But, you know how cool that would be just to do a road trip and hit every freaking stadium in the country?
I know. One day, maybe I can say I've done that.
I guess it would give me a reason to go to Dodger Stadium.
Right? And hopefully not get stabbed.
Yeah.
Jim Pagliaro, top fan, Wrigley Field. That's on here again. Aaron Weiss. I'll give him, shout out because he's top fan. Fenway or Lambeau, toss up there. Dale Alex. So I would like to go to this one more than Dodger Stadium, and that's Oracle Park at San Francisco.
I'm intrigued by this one because McCovey Cove, got the kayakers out there. There's not as many balls launched as there used to be.
Correct.
But, that'd be cool.
Just the views, too, man. Like, looking out into the bay. Like, that's fantastic.
And it seems like it's always around 70 degrees with a slight breeze right there into the bay.
I can roll with that.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Did we miss anything different?
Madison Square Garden or Staples by Alex Sandburn. Can't choose.
I didn't even see that one, so that's good. So, yeah, MSG.
I'd go with Madison Square Garden if it were me.
MSG's just got the history, man.
Yeah.
Like, for indoor arenas, like the outdoor venues have so much more charisma to them, I think.
Right.
But MSG's like one of those that's kind of, I give it respect.
I feel like it's the mecca of basketball.
It is. It really is.
Just if the Knicks could ever be good again.
That's the problem. It's lost its luster because the Knicks are the tire fire burning inside the building.
I think I have it's a little spot in my heart because where we used to play the Big East tournament there.
Oh, that was fantastic. That was almost better than March Madness.
That was awesome.
It was great. Just the teams there. Rounding out Lance Roten, not Rotten, LA Coliseum. Is that moving you at all?
Yeah.
Go see USC play?
No.
Or maybe the Rams?
No.
All right, so what's on your list? If you had to give me a couple, what is your bucket list stadium you want to go to?
Like I said, I already went to Fenway, which was awesome. It was the best experience I've ever had at a baseball game because the fans were so knowledgeable. Singing Sweet Caroline was awesome at Fenway. So I'd have to go with Wrigley because that's the other one. I would have liked to seen the original Yankee Stadium. So I would go to the new one because there's pieces from the old place
but it's
there.
Still not the same.
It's not the same. So I'd probably go Wrigley and then Yankee Stadium.
All right, so mine's definitely Wrigley. I'm right there with you. Outside of that, I would really like to go to Jerry's World. I just want to see the state-of-the-art $1 billion structure, and the giant TV and all that. Like, call me a millennial if you want, but I find it interesting, even though it doesn't have the old charm of all the other ones. But I definitely would love to see all the baseball stadiums. There's a lot of college football stadiums I'd love to go see, especially some of those SEC 90,000 plus capacity, stadiums, the Big House, Happy Valley up in Penn State. I'm with you on all those.
Let me add one more. It's not really talked about a lot, but I'd like to go to Seattle because I would definitely try those crickets.
The fried grasshoppers.
Yeah, is it crickets or grasshoppers?
The crickets would be like juicy too much.
Oh, well,
it's
whatever.
definitely fried grasshoppers.
So I would love to try that, though.
I mean, I can order them on eBay for you.
No, you got to do it at the stadium. It ain't the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
All right. So the last thing I'll mention is a shout out to Katie Lee, who was talking about Old Tiger Stadium. So the biggest bucket list of all for me right now, though, is what's happening this summer in August in Iowa, and that is the recreation of the Field of Dreams. So they're recreating a similar setup to Old Tiger Stadium. It's going to be a much smaller venue, but it's on the same property, and the old field is there where they originally shot Field of Dreams, and it's the White Sox and the Yankees. Would that not be one of the coolest events to ever go to?
I'd love to go to, and I've never been to Iowa, obviously.
I don't think you're missing much. Sorry, Iowa.
I would love to go to this game. I mean, you know how cool that would be, just sitting there watching major leaguers play around all these cornfields in the middle of nowhere. It would be like perfect. If you build it, they'll come, and there'll be cars everywhere out in the middle of Iowa in these fields.
They're literally going to build it, and hopefully we will go.
That's great.
So maybe
what's the capacity going to be?
It's like 8,000, and tickets aren't on sale yet.
I wonder how much those are going to cost you.
Well, they may not cost me anything because it might be out of my price range.
Probably like a left nut.
But we're going to. I don't even think my left nut's worth that much.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But we're gonna keep a close eye on it. I'm on the email chain, and I'm keeping an eye on the tickets there. But maybe we can start a GoFundMe.
We should.
We can go live from Field of Dreams there.
That'd be awesome.
That would be all right. Maybe we'll even get to interview Kevin Costner,
Shoeless Joe.
Well, this has been an interesting show, to say the least. At least we got a good interview out there, but maybe people won't realize we overcame erroneous technical difficulties tonight.
I think it was editor error.
Well,
can we chalk it up to that?
Well, if you want to.
All right. Makes me feel better.
Even though it was all your mic.
Yeah, I got you.
So let's close out. We talked a little bit about pop culture last week, and you were expressing your love for Mr. Rogers. I found very endearing. It was nice. But I was mentioning a documentary for you to go watch called Don't F With Cats. Did you watch it?
I committed to watching it. I'm a man of my word, so I watched it. For anybody who hasn't seen it, I'm recommending it to anybody to go see it. It's on Netflix. It's a miniseries, 3 episodes, about an hour each. So once you start it, you're going to probably be wrapped up in it for the full 3 hours because it's insane. Don't be afraid. There's nothing there that's going to make you turn your head. So it's crazy. And the best way I can describe it is Dateline on crack.
It is definitely Dateline on crack. And they also do a good job kind of showing you, but not showing you, so it's suspended disbelief, so they don't show anything terrible, but it's not really just about cats, people. So don't think that's what we're telling you, but we really can't mention what it's about because you just got to go on the journey. It's worth it.
It's awesome. Definitely check it out.
Speaking of suspended disbelief, I want to tie this in. What the hell's going on with Facebook, and why do they hate us?
Is it Facebook or Patriots fans?
It's probably both. So we actually talked on the show earlier about how much we despise Patriots fans. And in the meantime, we've had stuff ripped from our social media because it was offensive. And what exactly was offensive, Mr. Brown?
I mean, you tell me. We had a Tom Brady meme. He was sitting on Al Bundy's. It was Al Bundy sitting on his couch. Everybody's seen Married with Children. It's that, that 80s couch.
Yep.
He's sitting there with his hand down his pants like Al Bundy did, only we put Brady's face on there. And the caption just said, how Brady's watching the Super Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday.
And now it has been pulled.
It's been pulled because we violated community standards on sexual activity.
Sexual activity. What was he doing?
I mean,
well, it's all because of Brady. This is what's happened. It's because Brady gets tagged in that. And the Patriots fans came out in full force, just like last time we did anything about them. They ended up giving us like bad reviews, right?
I mean, it's frustrating because it had over 700 shares, and it wasn't slowing down. And it already reached like 60,000 people, and it just kept going and going and going, and then Facebook pulls it off of our page and anywhere that it was shared.
So I hate Facebook.
Yeah. The censorship is out of control.
I hate Patriots fans even more. And you know what? I'll transition to the last little bit of pop culture I want to mention, and that's if you didn't get a chance to see the Golden Globes, Ricky Gervais absolutely murdered Hollywood, and I found it glorious.
Oh, it was great. I mean, because you got this Hollywood elite group. They feel like they're off limits when it comes to jokes or anything for that nature. They live in their little bubble, and they feel like that they're untouchable. And he made it clear that they're clearly fair game.
And just absolutely delivered a good dose of truth, which, it's not going to change anything. Let's be honest. There's still going to be an entitled bunch of people that don't care about what we think. They just want us to know about what they think.
Right.
And just entertain us. That's all we ask.
I mean, what frustrates me, though, is what gives them the right to, come out here and lecture us on how we need to feel. And I'm not trying to throw education out there, but I've got a bachelor's degree with 2 different majors, right? I went to school. Some of them haven't, and I'm not saying a degree is what makes you smart or not smart, but what gives them the credibility to go out there and tell us how we should feel?
Money.
Okay.
They have a lot of money.
So, I mean, anybody that watches the news or talks to anybody knows how divided our country is, right?
Yeah.
You're either on one side or the other. You can't even get through a conversation on any topic. Like, let's say it's, I don't like guns. Oh, you're a liberal. They automatically throw that in your face, right?
Yep.
Because people can't possibly think about individual issues and take sides on individual issues or not sticking to that whole platform.
Everything has to be exclusive to that one side.
Right. So, with that being said, I feel like both sides of the group here, I haven't heard a peep from anybody, like a normal, everyday person going out there working. No matter what side of the political fence you're on, everyone seems to agree with how he treated these Hollywood elites at this awards ceremony.
That's because he hit a home run, baby.
Oh, absolutely.
That's how you do it. And now the Academy Awards will not have a host.
That's beautiful. I mean, I loved it. Every time I see it on social media, I watch it again. And the Tom Hanks meme now?
That'll live on
instant
forever.
gold.
It's great. Well, if you guys have been listening to the podcast for the last 10 or 15 minutes, the sound of four-wheelers and dogs barking mean that, things are getting a little treacherous out here in the boondocks. So I think for the betterment of our personal safety, it's time to wrap it up. But we appreciate you guys sticking with us, and we look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to have a really good guest, a baseball, maybe sports artist. I don't know exactly what he does.
Focuses on baseball, I believe, but
I think he focuses on baseball, but it is awesome work.
Correct.
And we can't wait to have him on, and we're hoping that we'll just get like some free swag out of it.
that'll be awesome.
So anyway, we'll be back next week, guys. Thank you, and we'll see you then.